Smile. Okay, that's cute. Don't worry, I'll get these digicam photos to you as soon as possible. Eventually. Okay, let's be honest, I'm probably never going to get these off of the digicam, and I'm probably never going to get them to you, but hi, what's up, how are we today? It's Mebby, and if you couldn't tell, this is my digital camera. My cheap digital camera. $20, babe. $20 Best Buy. There's been a massive trend recently in the past 3 years with digital cameras and people buying cheap digital cameras to try to get a vintage feel. People would buy old digital cameras and take them to functions along with other cameras or their phones, and that's how they take pictures and share it with each other, and it was a super aesthetic vibe, and it's a great trend. But recently I noticed that this trend has started to change, and you know, I don't love that so much. So that's what we're gonna get into today. I'm gonna be honest, this whole video is probably just going to be a little bit of a rant post, and hey, that's okay. That's okay. As a content creator, I'm allowed to use my platform how I want sometimes, and sometimes I just want to bitch and moan. Overall, don't take this video too seriously, but this has been weighing on my heart recently. I do love the digital camera trend. I think it's great to live in the moment. I think it's great to get like different kinds of photos, as long as with like iPhone and professional. It's nice to have some that are grainier or some that are nostalgic. That's really cute, because sometimes a filter just doesn't do a digicam justice. You know, you can't pretend to have a digicam sometimes. Sometimes you can, but the filters never do it justice. So about 3 years ago, when the digicam trend really started to blow up, I was all on board. But nowadays, I've seen this trend get corrupted, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. Also, one thing I don't know how I feel about, my mic is like in the middle today. Like usually it's off to the side, or I'm holding it and it's just right in front of me right now. And like I have like my elbows here, and I'm like doing this. I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel about it. Honestly, I kind of like it. It's easy. Also, I can do ASMR. But people are messing this trend up for me, and it's making me kind of mad and upset. And I think it's a really interesting thing to notice about our generation. So we're gonna get into all of that today. Also, before we get into this video, if you liked that ASMR for some reason and you haven't subscribed already, if you could go down and check if you're subscribed, that would be so awesome. We're so close to 70,000 subscribers, and I would poop my pants if we hit that. So you guys should do that. And with that being said, let's get into this video about digital cameras. So what is a digicam? In case you don't know. Actually, 1 second, I'm so sorry. You know how I said, oh, this is dead center, I kind of like this? It's not gonna be like that anymore, because the people in my courtyard, okay, it's 12:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m. and there is dubstep being played downstairs with a bunch of people screaming. So I love college. That's so fun. Anyway, what is a digicam? A digicam, or a digital camera, stores photos digitally on a SD card or a drive or something, as opposed to a film camera where that footage is captured on film. What? That's crazy. Specifically, the digicams we will be talking about today are point and shoot digital cameras. You point them and you shoot them. Wow, I am such a good educator. And with a point and shoot, there aren't a lot of fancy settings like there are in other kinds of digital cameras. So say the camera that I'm filming on right now is technically a digital camera because its content is being stored digitally on an SD card. And so is that digital camera. But this has a lot of other fancy things. But they're both still digital cameras. But point and shoot digital cameras are the one that got popular recently because they're handheld, they're simple, anyone can use them, and very, very portable. So digital cameras have been around since the late 70s in their like prototype phases, and then in the late 80s and 90s they became produced for commercial use, and more point and shoot cameras spread as well. As mobile phones became more popular and cameras kept getting upgraded with each new update, point and shoot cameras became a little less commonplace in the houses of teenagers and young adults. But like I said, it recently had a rise again. I think I remember like at the end of my senior year is really when the digital camera trend picked up, especially my freshman year of college, and it's still going strong today, trust. But I remember at the end of my senior year of high school, I would start to see TikToks like this. And honestly, seeing those kinds of photos or people talking about digicams that way, I'm so like desensitized to it now. But I know when we started seeing these digicam photos back in the day being 20 23. Like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the? Sorry. I remember we were gagged. I was like, oh, this eats down. I need this right now. But why? Why were we gagged? Why did we all of a sudden decide that we need digital cameras? We had a lot of reasonings for this, okay? So one, people like the vintage look. 80s and 90s nostalgic eras are always coming back. Just like trend. And it all has something to do with the 80s or 90s because apparently we've decided that that is an amazing time to live in. The media has romanticized those decades so much, but that is okay because those decades aesthetics ate down. The 80s, Back to the Future, that's all I have to say. Like, I want to be Marty McFly one day. That is still a dream I hold. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Anyway, not only are 80s and 90s fashion fads always happening, but also a lot of these point and shoot digital cameras are what were used in Gen Z's childhood. The photos from our childhood that are in our scrapbooks or like on our like dad's old hard drive that we plug into the computer, those are all taken by point and shoot digicams. So sometimes we see these photos and I think we legit get nostalgic because of the way digicams capture the focus, capture the subject, capture the colors, and capture the lighting. It all has kind of a specific kind of feel to it, especially like the nicer digicams that like our parents saved up for and bought because that was what you took photos with. And so because of that, they're also just extremely nostalgic. And because we've romanticized this time from the 80s and 90s too, is this like coming of age, cool person vibe, we think that we are giving that when we take photos with it. Again, with all this, I'm talking about when we first started using the digicams in 2023. When we first started, all these cameras were like dirt cheap off of Amazon or Best Buy. Again, need I say more? Like this one is like really bad. I'm gonna be honest, she's really bad. But she captures some iconic flicks, may I say. As you can tell, not the highest quality. Yet I am still eating down. Anyway, a lot of people got these cameras because they wanted to live in the moment. When you take a camera with your iPhone, it's quick and then you can look at it all again. You scroll through and you're like, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? That takes away from the moment. If we use a digital cam, we're just flick. And it has that live in the moment aesthetic feel because that's how it also was back then for our childhood. We felt like we were all living in the moment. So it again ties to that kind of nostalgia we feel. So we'd buy these cheap cameras for like $20 to $40, bring them to every function, take random photos, go load them off, put them on our computer, and then share them with everyone and look at them in the morning. That's how it was. And that's how it is still for a lot of people, especially for me. I will legit take this. You're in the middle of a conversation. I'm just gonna save that one for my collection. Like I think I am a creep actually, but not really. But when I have a digicam in my hands, I am a creep. I'm sorry. But nowadays this has started to change. The most popular camera to get now is a Canon G7X, I believe. Is that it? Yeah, I got it right. Me when I'm a genius or whatever. Sorry. And a Canon G7X is expensive. Oh, good lord. Let me find one real quick. Canon G7X. One of the most popular point and shoot digicams right now. Right. At Walmart, this can't be real. A G7X Mark III Digi point and shoot camera from Canon, $1,417. What? This one's a little bit more professional, so I can kind of understand like this is also meant to be double used as a vlogging camera. But my Canon right in front of me that I use to film, again, not as portable because it's not like a vlogging camera, still half the price of that. Huh? A G7X Mark II, $1,299. Oh, a lot of people also get like Sony Cyber Shots, which, you know, maybe if you're lucky, you could find one for $50. Or you could find one for $500. You never know. You never know. A lot of people will collect cameras, and this obviously existed before the digicam trend. I have a camcorder. I know a lot of people collect camcorders, collect old digital cameras, and some of them use them. Some of them are in working condition, but now it's super popular for like vintage people to find digital cameras, buy them, resell them for hire, and like they're usable condition, so they're for people to use as like point and shoot digicams to bring to the functions. And these things are like $250. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, you know, like you're allowed to spend your money on whatever you want, especially if you like to collect cameras and this is a real passion of yours, like you love them digital cameras. I understand. And also, don't get me wrong, these nicer digicams eat down. Their photos are valuable to me. Trust. They have their function, but I don't like that we're normalizing it as this is the camera you have to have, because we lost the plot. But that being said, I love it when my friends have their nicer digicams than me and they bring them to the defunct and then they get good photos of me. Because I'll be honest, the photos that my friends' nicer digicams that they found for like $100 at the thrift but would have been like $500 anywhere else, I don't understand how they stumbled across them. They are so lucky. The photos they take, I like them. They are my main Instagram post for like my end of the year dumps because I'm stealing these photos from my friends. You could make the argument, why are we buying these expensive cameras when our iPhones are like have amazing cameras like built into them? That's true. iPhones have really good cameras. However, I don't know what the is going on with them. Why, when we take photos on an iPhone now, it looks good when you're taking it and it looks like burnt later on? I know it's something to do with the settings. I know it's something to do with how I'm taking the photo. My portrait mode is fine, but everything, oh guys, it sucks. Why does it suck? Does PSA, does anybody have a tip for this? Because I'm very confused. I don't know what's happening. I'm baffled. It upsets me, as many things do. So there are some cases where the Digicam is actually taking better photos than your iPhone would. So I'm not saying Digicams, especially nice kid Digicams, don't serve a purpose. But it is frustrating that is becoming the new normal of this trend that was meant to be a nonchalant, cool, just buy like the $20, $40 Digicam. Let's stop caring about the quality of our photos and just start living in the moment. That was the Digicam revolution. That's where it started. And now people are like taking my Digicam to the beach for the beach sunset photos. That's the camera we're using. And it's like, okay, get a professional camera. If you're going to be spending that much money on a point and shoot Digicam, you obviously have some kind of passion for photography. I plead with and encourage you to get a professional grade camera that you could get for maybe around the same price that you're planning on spending. And you could learn a lot more because you have a lot more settings to play with. And you're still getting just as good, if not better quality. I don't like how the expensive camera is becoming the new norm, and I think there is semi a reasoning for it. Why has this trend that is meant to be low-key and nonchalant turned into something that is very chalant? And if you'd like to see the Canon G7X and the popular photos being taken with them, here you go.
Because if looks could kill, you wouldn't want to be Dan Humphrey.
And again, these photos do eat down. No one is not saying that. I'm saying, why is this a new normal when the trend was a cheap ass camera or a camera you found laying around the house and unpost photos? Why is it too long? The reasoning I think this is just because Gen Z has kind of an issue with non-committal trends. With how fast-paced everything is nowadays, this should not come as a shock. We see fast fashion trends or micro trends all the time. Every month there is a new one. And for some reason, this fast fashion stuff used to be pretty cheap. Now, the things we're making really trendy are getting really expensive really fast. Like collecting Stanley cups, it girl dresses, the hair care products, the skincare products. These things are getting barely expensive, but we're making it so trendy and we're making it feel like everybody needs to have them. We buy into these trends and this fashion because it portrays the aesthetic we want people to see. Because this is the aesthetic that is being pushed onto us. People are saying to us, this is what you want to be. This is the new aesthetic. This is what you want, girl. Come and get it. Okay, maybe they're not doing it like that, but they're basically saying that. And in order to feel like we are validated and that we're being perceived properly in the way we want to, is to buy into that trend. Many articles and research claims that Gen Z really highly values authenticity in social media. And while that isn't completely untrue, not at all. I mean, there's literal research to back it up. I mean, even like side note, take Ashby for example. That is true authenticity and she's blowing the up right now.
I did not have sexual relations with that tree. I had it with that one.
But sometimes I can't help but think, do we actually think this? Do we actually value authenticity? Or are we just saying that because we think it makes us sound good? And sometimes we do it to be genuine, like the way this trend started, how we wanted to be in the moment and just capture photos and do it cheaply with stuff we already had. That was the origin of this trend, but it feels like it got corrupted. I feel like trends and aesthetics, even ones meant to be low-key, eventually turn into a who can be the best at this competition, and also somewhat rooted in who can buy buy the most expensive thing because the most expensive thing is the best thing, and it just keeps getting better and better because people keep finding more and more expensive things. That's what this trend has felt like to me. This is definitely partially driven by consumerism and the public wanting to have the product, and whatever we're being told is the product is what needs to be the standard. But not everyone can afford that fucking standard, and it's okay to have shitty digicam photos. I like my shitty digicam photos, okay? Yes, they don't look great, but that graininess and that little like purple hue that they have to them, they're cute. This thing takes photos so slow. If you're posing for a photo with this thing, I have to say hold still, because if you move within 3 seconds, your photo's gonna be blurry. And so half the photos on this thing are blurry, but it's so cute. Sorry, I literally lost my point. That was just a rant about how much I love my digicam. Even though I will admit, she is a bitch. At the end of the day, I just think this is rooted in Gen Z's desire to be perceived positively and the validation we get from that. If we feel like we have the product, the best version, the most expensive one, and we create content using that and people see that, we feel validated. It makes that money spent feel worth it. And some people might even feel like they're better than other people because they have this version of the product. And when that is set as the standard and the norm, trends start to fall off because it doesn't feel like this community thing anymore. It just feels like, okay, well, I have to do that and I'm not gonna do that and I can't do that, so why even have a digicam in the first place? Because they are fun if you use them for the original reason they started trending. In my conclusion, I don't actually really care that much. This is truly just a rant video because I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I'm like, you know what? My audience needs to know this. The Mebbies, the Mebbles, the Mebheads. You guys need to be informed of my every inner thought that I've ever had. This is just a rant video because I don't want to be spending $300 in a digicam, and I feel like I have to sometimes, but then I am reminded that although she is flawed, she has captured some pretty good moments. I like all digicams though. I like the expensive one that my friends have because I can take them and post my photos on Instagram just using their cameras and not my own. And I also like this digital camera, which is not a point and shoot, but I use for many other photo shoots. Just posted photos on Instagram, by the way. If you haven't followed my Instagram, you should do that. I love posting on Instagram. I love taking photos. I love editing photos. I actually don't post on Instagram very often, but it's like in my free time, like that is a very big hobby of mine, separate from like content creation. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant video. It was probably short and unnecessary, to be honest, but nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me complain a little. This has really just been something I've been noticing recently, and I was like, yeah, they need to know. And if you guys like hearing my every little thought that has ever occurred in my head, please type that in the comments below. And while you're down there, you can hit the like button, and while you're down there, you can hit the subscribe button. The majority of my viewers are not subscribed, so guess what? I think we should fix that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I love you. Bye. Oh my god, my head hurts. It's 1 a.m. Goodbye. I have work in 8 hours. Good night. Good night. Mwah. Unless it's not nighttime for you. If it's the morning, good morning. Good morning. Rise and shine. Get that worm. Okay, bye.